They say dignity doesn't cost a thing. But what happens when the world tries to strip it from you, right in front of strangers? A man humiliated in public, judged not by his worth, but by his skin. What the clerk didn't know was that the man had the power to change her entire life, forever. Stay with me. This one will leave you speechless. And before we dive in, if stories of resilience, justice, and redemption inspire you, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's grow this community together. Marcus Daniels walked into the luxury store on a Saturday afternoon. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. Just jeans, sneakers, and a hoodie, comfortable after a long week. He wanted to buy something special. Not for himself. For his mother's 65th birthday. She had raised him alone, working 2 jobs to keep food on the table. And now, after years of grinding, climbing the corporate ladder, Marcus was finally in a position to give back. Today, he wanted to buy her the diamond bracelet she once admired in a glossy magazine but never could afford. He walked up to the counter, heart racing with excitement. But then it happened. The clerk didn't even look up at first. When she did, her eyes scanned him from head to toe. And then came the words, the kind that cut deeper than a knife. "Sir, those items are very expensive. Maybe you'd be more comfortable at the clearance rack in the back." Marcus froze. He tried to explain, politely, "No, thank you. I know what I want. I'd like to see the diamond bracelet, please." But the clerk laughed. "Sir, people like you don't walk in here to buy diamond jewelry. You look like you can't even afford the tax on it." The other shoppers turned to stare. Some snickered, some shook their heads, but nobody spoke up. Marcus felt his face burn. Shame, anger, humiliation, all mixing at once. The clerk leaned in closer, her voice sharp, dismissive. "I'll be honest with you. You're wasting my time, and this store doesn't allow loitering. So unless you're actually buying something cheap, please leave." Marcus clenched his fists. He could have walked out. He could have swallowed the pain, the humiliation. But not today. Not this time. Because today wasn't about him. It was about honoring his mother. And no one, absolutely no one, was going to rob him of that. Marcus reached into his pocket. Slow, calm, silent. The clerk smirked. "Oh, here we go. Let me guess. You've got a debit card with $5 on it." But when Marcus placed a black metal credit card on the glass counter, the entire store went silent. A Centurion, an elite company card, the kind reserved only for the top executives of the biggest firms in the country. The clerk's smirk vanished. Her eyes widened. Her voice cracked. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize." But it was too late. Marcus looked her dead in the eyes. "You didn't need to realize. You just needed to show respect." The manager rushed over, suddenly all smiles. "Sir, welcome, welcome. Please forgive the misunderstanding. Of course, we'd be honored to serve you." The clerk stammered, pale with fear. I didn't mean, I thought." But Marcus wasn't listening to excuses. He looked straight at the manager. "I came here to buy my mother something special, a diamond bracelet. But after the way I've been treated, tell me, do you think this is the kind of store she'd be proud of me supporting?" The manager swallowed hard. Sweat formed on his brow. The other shoppers whispered. Some pulled out their phones. They had watched every second of the humiliation. And now, they were recording the reversal. The clerk's arrogance had crumbled into desperation. Her job, her reputation, her pride, all slipping through her fingers. Marcus finally spoke again. "I'll take the bracelet, but I'll be filing a complaint with corporate, and I want this entire incident reviewed." The manager nodded frantically. "Why, yes, sir. Absolutely. We'll take care of it immediately." Marcus picked up the bracelet box, turned, and as he walked out, he left the clerk trembling, fighting back tears. Outside the store, Marcus paused. He looked down at the small velvet box in his hands, and he whispered to himself, "This isn't about diamonds. It's about dignity." Because sometimes the richest gift you can give is to show the world that respect must be earned, not assumed, and that no matter how much money you have in your pocket. The true measure of wealth is character. But just when Marcus thought it was over, It wasn't. The next morning, he got a phone call. Not from the store, not from the clerk, from his company's headquarters. Apparently, someone had leaked a video of the incident online. It had gone viral overnight. Now, the CEO wanted to see him immediately, and what Marcus didn't know was that this meeting would turn his life upside down again, in ways he never imagined. Remember Marcus Daniels? The man humiliated in a luxury store, only to flip the script with his corporate credit card? Well, what happened next was bigger than anyone expected, because when that video hit the internet, overnight, his private humiliation became a national headline, and the fallout was deadly. The video spread like wildfire. Clips posted on TikTok hit 10 million views in 12 hours. Twitter threads dissected every second. News stations replayed the footage on loop. The narrative? Successful black man discriminated against by luxury retailer. Comment sections exploded with anger. Marches were planned outside the store. The company scrambled for damage control. And right in the middle of the storm was Marcus. The next morning, Marcus's phone buzzed. The number, his company's headquarters. The voice, the CEO himself. Marcus, we need to talk. Right now. Fly to New York. Emergency board meeting. Marcus's stomach dropped. He had worked for this firm for over a decade, climbed every rung of the ladder, earned respect. But now, he wasn't sure if he was being praised or punished. He arrived in Manhattan. Towering skyscraper. Top floor conference room. The board of directors was already seated, faces tight, papers spread across the table. The CEO leaned forward. Marcus, the video has put us in the spotlight. Investors are nervous. Reporters are digging into our backgrounds. We need you to be careful. Marcus frowned. Careful? I didn't do anything wrong. I was humiliated. I stood up for myself. The CEO's tone sharpened. We know, but this is bigger than you. A senior executive slid a folder across the table. Inside, photographs. Surveillance stills. Not just of Marcus in the jewelry store, but of him in different places, different times. Paparazzi shots, private dinners, even his mother's home. Marcus's hands trembled. What is this? The CEO sighed. Someone's been following you. And now, the press is about to release something. Something they claim will change the entire narrative. That night, a breaking news banner flashed across the country. Luxury store incident. Was Marcus Daniels really who he claimed to be? The anchor's voice cut sharp. Sources allege Marcus Daniels has ties to a secret corporate cover-up, one involving missing company funds and an unsolved death. The internet went insane. 1 second, Marcus was a hero. The next, he was trending as a suspect. Marcus slammed the TV, remote down. This is insane. They're trying to frame me. But as he looked closer, the report showed documents, leaked emails, financial records, supposedly signed by him. The problem? The signature looked like his, but Marcus knew he had never signed those papers. Someone was setting him up, and they were doing it perfectly. The next day, Marcus visited his mother. She tried to comfort him. Baby, don't let them break you. Truth always wins. But then she hesitated, her face pale. Marcus, there's something you don't know. Something from years ago. She handed him an old envelope. Inside, a photograph. A man, smiling in a suit, standing beside Marcus as a child. Marcus froze. That man was the same name mentioned in the news broadcast. The one tied to the unsolved death. And the man, he wasn't just anyone. He was Marcus's estranged father. Marcus staggered back. His mother whispered, I never told you. I thought it was safer if you didn't know. But your father, he was part of that company long before you. And when he died, not everything was an accident. The room spun. Marcus realized he hadn't just been targeted randomly. He was at the center of a decades-old secret. A secret someone was willing to kill for. The following week was chaos. Protesters still marched outside the luxury store. But now, counter-protesters held signs. Marcus is a fraud. His job suspended him pending investigation. The press camped outside his home. Neighbors whispered, and every night, Marcus felt eyes watching him from the dark. One evening, while driving home, headlights flared in his rear-view mirror. The car followed too close. Too aggressive, Marcus turned down side streets. The car stayed on him. He sped up. They sped up. And then, crash. His vehicle was rammed from behind. Metal screeched. Glass shattered. Marcus spun off the road. Airbag exploded in his face. Dazed, he stumbled out of the wreck. But the other driver never got out. The car reversed. Tires squealed. And in seconds, it vanished into the night. Police took a statement. But the officer's tone was flat. Skeptical. "Mr. Daniels, you've been all over the news. Could this have been a publicity stunt?" Marcus's blood boiled. "I was run off the road. Someone's trying to silence me." But the detective's face gave nothing away. And Marcus realized he couldn't trust anyone. Not the press. Not his company. Not even the cops. Marcus dug deeper into his father's past. Old newspaper clippings. Financial records. Whispers of corporate corruption. He discovered his father had been investigating a billion-dollar fraud inside the company before his accident. And now, Marcus, unknowingly, was walking the same path. The discrimination in the store had been real, but the viral moment may have been orchestrated. The humiliation, the video leak, the sudden media storm. What if it was all designed to put him in the spotlight, so they could destroy him publicly before he uncovered the truth? Marcus confronted the CEO again. "You set me up. My father knew something, and now you're trying to bury me too." The CEO's eyes narrowed. "You think this is about racism? This is about survival. Your father was digging where he didn't belong. And you're just like him." Marcus leaned in. "Then you should be scared. Because I won't stop until the truth comes out." The CEO smirked. "You won't live long enough." That night, Marcus returned home, slipped an envelope from his mailbox. No return address. Inside, just one sheet of paper. Typed, it read, "Your father didn't die by accident, and the person who killed him works closer to you than you think. Meet me tomorrow night, alone, or you'll be next." Marcus's hands shook. His heart pounded. For the first time, he wasn't sure if he was a hunter or the prey. Last time, Marcus received the note. The one that claimed his father's death was an accident. The one that warned, someone close to you is a killer. And now, the clock was ticking. Because Marcus had just 24 hours to decide if he'd risk his life for the truth, or walk away and never know. But walking away, that was never an option. The note said, "Meet me tomorrow night, alone, Pier 17. Classic setup. Empty docks. Dim streetlights. The kind of place where secrets go to die. Marcus told no one. Not his mother. Not his friends. Not even the detective still half watching his case. If this was a trap, he had to face it himself. The night air was sharp. Fog rolled off the water. Marcus's footsteps echoed against the pier. Then movement. A shadow peeled away from the dark. A man. Hooded. Marcus's pulse hammered. "Are you the one who sent the note?" The hooded figure nodded. Slowly lowered his hood. Marcus's breath caught. It was a face he hadn't seen in years. A family friend. His father's old business partner. The man spoke fast, eyes darting like prey. "Your father, he didn't just die. He was murdered, and the people running your company made sure of it." Marcus's throat tightened. "Prove it." The man handed him a USB drive. Files, emails, recordings, all of it, enough to expose everything. But then the man froze. His eyes widened in terror. From the shadows, a gunshot cracked. The man collapsed. Blood pooled across the wooden planks. Marcus dropped to his knees. "Stay with me. Who killed my father?" The man gasped a single word. "And died." The word he whispered? Boardroom. Marcus's mind raced. The board of directors. The same men and women he had trusted for years. The conspiracy wasn't some hidden enemy. It was right at the heart of the company. And now, someone had just silenced the one man willing to talk. Before Marcus could process, headlights flared, engines roared, black SUVs rolled onto the pier, doors opened, men in suits stepped out. Marcus ran. Bullets sparked against steel beams. Adrenaline surged. He dove between crates, scrambled across planks, leapt into the freezing water below. The shock of the cold stole his breath, but it was better than a bullet in the back. Hours later, dripping wet, Marcus sat in his car, staring at the USB drive. What was on it? Why had the man risked his life to give it to him? His phone buzzed. An unknown number. A voice hissed, "You're in over your head, Marcus. Walk away, or your mother is next." Click. Marcus's stomach turned to ice. He rushed home, locked the door, plugged the USB into his laptop. Dozens of files popped up. Memos, wire transfers, internal reports, and then one video file. Marcus clicked. On screen, a boardroom, a hidden camera, grainy footage. His father, alive, speaking passionately, slamming documents onto a table. "This company is stealing billions. And if you don't stop, I'll go public." Across from him sat the CEO, and beside him, several board members. Then the footage cut and resumed. Marcus's father was gone, the chair empty, the board silent. Marcus sat frozen. He had just watched his father's last moments alive, and the message was clear. The company silenced him. But then Marcus spotted something worse. At the far end of the table, faint in the shadows, a face, one he recognized instantly. It wasn't just board members in that room. It was someone Marcus knew personally, someone he trusted. The face on screen was Detective Harris, the same cop who had doubted Marcus, the same man assigned to his case. Marcus's blood ran cold. If the detective had been in that room, it meant the conspiracy wasn't just corporate. It was protected by law enforcement. He was up against an empire. The next day, news broke again. Marcus Daniels under federal investigation. They claimed he had embezzled millions, that his lifestyle was funded by fraud. Reporters swarmed his lawn. Neighbors sneered. Even his closest friends stopped answering calls. The empire was crushing him, inch by inch. Then came the final straw. Marcus arrived at his mother's house. The door was ajar. Lights off. Inside, chaos. Furniture overturned. Glass shattered. On the wall, in red spray paint. "Stop digging." His mother was gone. Marcus's knees buckled. This wasn't just about him anymore. They had taken the only person he had left. And he knew, if he didn't act now, he'd lose her forever. So he made a choice. No more running. No more hiding. It was time to go on the offensive. Marcus studied the files again. One document stood out, a calendar entry. Board meeting, Friday 9 p.m., private location. 2 days away. That's where they'd be. That's where his mother would be. That's where the truth would finally come out. But walking in unarmed would be suicide. So Marcus prepared. Burner phone, disguises, recording devices. If they wanted him silenced, he'd make sure the whole world heard the truth first. Friday night, a gated estate outside the city. Guards in black suits. Tinted cars lined the drive. Marcus crept through the woods, heart hammering, every step heavier than the last. Through the window, he saw them. The board, the CO, Detective Harris, and then his mother, bound to a chair. Marcus's chest ignited with rage. He slipped inside, phone recording, every word captured. The CEO's voice filled the room. "Gentlemen, tonight we finalize this. Marcus Daniels will take the fall, just like his father. By Monday, the scandal disappears." Marcus stepped into the light. Not this time. Gasps. Chairs scraped back. The CEO smirked. Right on time. Detective Harris drew his gun. Marcus froze. But then, another gun cocked. From the shadows, one board member stood, weapon raised, not at Marcus, at the CEO. The room erupted in chaos. Because the traitor wasn't Marcus. It wasn't Harris. It was someone inside the board itself. Shouts, gunfire, papers flying. Marcus dove for cover. His mother screamed. Bullets shredded the air. In the madness, Marcus grabbed her, untied her hands, pulled her to safety. But before they could escape, the CEO blocked the door, gun in hand. You should have stayed quiet, Marcus, just like your father. Marcus lifted his phone, flashing the screen. The red recording light blinked. Too late. The world already knows. The CEO's eyes widened, and then, boom, an explosion tore through the estate. Windows shattered. Walls crumbled. Marcus shielded his mother. Smoke, fire, screams. When he opened his eyes, the CEO was gone. The detective was gone. Half the board was gone. And in the rubble, a single envelope lay at Marcus's feet. He opened it. Inside, this isn't over. You still know who really killed your father. Look closer. Marcus's jaw clenched, because scrawled beneath the message was his own mother's signature. They said the case was over. They said Marcus should walk away. But Marcus? He couldn't. Not after what he had seen. Not after the trail of lies that left his best friend in prison and his own name buried in suspicion. This story wasn't done. It wasn't even close. The last time we left Marcus, he had just unearthed the tape, the missing surveillance footage that proved Jamal couldn't have been at the scene of the murder. The footage showed a man, someone else, but the face? The shadows blurred it. A hood, a limp, a detail no one caught before. Marcus sat there, replaying it over and over, his heart racing, the way the figure moved. It felt familiar, too familiar, and then it hit him like a knife to the chest. The limp, the tilt of the head. It looked like Detective Harris, the same man who had sworn Jamal was guilty. Marcus wanted to scream, but how do you go against a cop? A decorated detective who controlled the narrative from day one? He needed more, something bulletproof. So Marcus dug deeper, through Harris's old cases, through dusty files no one cared about anymore. And that's when the pattern emerged. Every case Harris solved had one thing in common: missing evidence, files misplaced, cameras down, witnesses who subtly changed their stories. But the murder of Elena, the woman Jamal was accused of killing, this one was different, because Elena had been Harris's informant, and she knew too much. It was late when Marcus's phone buzzed. A blocked number, a whisper on the other end. You're digging too deep. Back off, or you'll end up like her. Marcus froze. His blood ran cold. Whoever it was knew. He hung up, but the message was clear. He was getting close. Marcus rushed to the one person he thought he could trust, Officer Daniels. Daniels had been his quiet ally, the one cop who believed Jamal might be innocent. He showed Daniels the tape, the files, the patterns. Daniels stared, his face unreadable. Finally, Daniels nodded. We'll take this to internal affairs. Harris won't walk away from this. For the first time, Marcus felt hope. But hope can be dangerous. Because that night, as Marcus drove home, a pair of headlights appeared in his rear-view mirror. Bright, blinding. The car tailgated him, then swerved, forcing him off the road. Marcus crashed into a ditch, and through the shattered glass, he saw the driver, Daniels, the man he trusted most. Bleeding, Marcus crawled out of the wreck. Daniels stepped out, calm as stone. You weren't supposed to find the tape, Marcus. Harris, he doesn't work alone. Marcus's head spun. It wasn't just Harris. It was a ring, a cover-up that went higher than he imagined. Daniels crouched beside him, voice cold. Elena was about to expose us. That's why she had to go. Jamal was convenient, a perfect fall guy. Marcus's world shattered, his brother's life destroyed, not by chance, but by design. But Daniels made one mistake. He thought Marcus was alone. From the darkness, another car pulled up. A woman stepped out, a camera in hand. Elena's sister. She had been following Marcus ever since he reopened the case. And now, she had recorded everything. Danielle's confession. The next days were chaos. The footage went public. Harris and Daniels were arrested, Their entire web of corruption ripped open. Jamal was freed. Marcus, hailed as the man who brought down dirty cops. Justice. But was it enough? Marcus looked at his brother. Free, yes, but broken. Years stolen. Trust shattered. A wound that would never fully heal. And Marcus himself, he couldn't sleep. The whispers of that phone call haunted him, because if Harris and Daniels were just two in the ring, who else was still out there? Marcus staring at a letter slipped under his door. No return address. Just one line. You think you've won. But the real game has just begun. A chilling silence. And the note, justice may be served, but the war is far from over. The story raises a big question. Is justice ever really final? Or is it always a game of uncovering the next secret? If you were in Marcus's shoes, would you risk everything to uncover the truth? Which character do you trust the least right now? Detective Harris, Officer Daniels, or someone else? Share your opinions. Hit that subscribe button right now. Let's grow this community together.